So DICE have finally broken their silence, and by now all the YouTubers have probably clickbaited the hell out of whatever content we have on the horizon. Are the 2 updates enough though? Is it too little too late? And how good are these updates? In today's video, we're going to take a look at all of that, but before we get into this one, maybe consider subscribing if you enjoy the content, and let me know what you think of the video with either a like or a dislike. So to get into this one, let's start out by looking at update 3.2. This is the smaller update we're getting, and it actually dropped today. I'm not going to read out the patch notes word for word, but to summarize it, here are the most important changes I saw. Firstly, we have the balance changes. The first one sees the sniper and soft lamp scopes having their glint shown from a further distance. I didn't really see many people asking for this change, but it's definitely not bad at all. There have been times where a sniper has killed me, and without any real glint, I have no idea where they're shooting me from. And the soft lamp is something that I pretty much never see. At least with these changes, hopefully they're a bit more obvious now. The second balance change is actually a small buff to the tanks. The canister shell has had its bullet spread reduced from 1.6 to 1.1, and its damage fall-off distance increased from 35 to 40. This should make the canister shell a far more viable option, but I'm still not sure if it's strong enough to choose over the mortar launcher. Definitely don't sleep on this one though. 1.6 to 1.1 on spread is actually a really big change. This should be way more usable at long range now. Now the rest of this update is pretty much just bug fixes. I'll scroll through the changes if you want to pause and read. A few of them are pretty significant. Firstly, we have actually a fix for the infinite down state. This is really annoying, and I think it was only fixable by relogging. There's also a fix for soldier movement speed being impaired by nearby explosions creating craters. I believe this is the slowdown effect you get when a little bird or attack heli shoots at you. It is really annoying, pretty much feel helpless against that, and I hope it's a complete fix. Spotting also should be a little bit less potent now, as they've fixed the bug where firing would spot you for too long. The rest of these changes are nice. The only other main one is just the overall game stability being improved. At least for me, it's hard to notice these changes while playing the update. It's all nice, but there's nothing to really write home about. The real changes are actually coming with update 3.3. DICE also gave us some information for this update, and that's what I really want to talk about within this video. So to start with, it's coming out in mid to late February and features a refreshed scoreboard alongside further changes that have been in the works since the return from holidays. Starting with that scoreboard, here is what DICE have came up with so far. You've got a player and AI list with kills, assists, revives, captures, and defenses. Now the keen-eyed among you may have already noticed that it's actually missing deaths, and this was heavily criticized and debated on by the community last night. I personally want to see deaths on the scoreboard. DICE said themselves that the scoreboard is to see our players stack up in a server, and while not being the most important thing, deaths are a part of that. They're not toxic, and you certainly don't need to protect people's feelings. Just go back to what literally every other game does and show deaths. Aside from that, there's a few other things that I'd like to see changed on this scoreboard. I think they should split the teams like previous games did, remove assists, and maybe even add vehicles destroyed in place for assists. They could even copy paste the BF4 scoreboard and I wouldn't be mad at all. But reinventing the wheel yet again just isn't working for me. When posting the scoreboard, at least they did ask for feedback, and the community pretty much agreed on adding deaths at the very least. If they don't take this into account, it'll be obvious that they don't mean it when they say they're listening. The feedback was well and beyond there last night. Supposedly the scoreboard will receive further updates beyond this refresh, and this is not a one and done deal for DICE. Some are seeing that statement as great, but honestly, like, come on, it's a scoreboard, it's really simple, and it well and truly should be a one and done deal. If they can't get this right, man, it's looking grim. They also mentioned that matchmaking preferences, VoIP, and performance are all things that are on their radar. One interesting thing here is that they did say matchmaking preferences and not server browser. Maybe this indicates that we will never be getting a server browser and that matchmaking is needed for maybe SBMM in the game. I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't be surprised either. Regardless, I really do hope that some of that stuff makes it into this next update, and aside from these things, I'm pretty sure we're getting a C5 drone nerf, and I definitely wouldn't be surprised if some vehicles receive a few balance changes. To be honest, I'd be happy if they just worked on ironing out the bugs and performance issues before balance is even considered. DICE can be really bad at balancing games, often overbuffing and over-nerfing things, and actually making the situation worse. We saw this a lot with Battlefield 5, and those devs are a lot of the ones that are working on this game. We don't really have as many of those OG BF4, BF3 devs, and we just gotta remember that BF5 is pretty much the closest thing to what we got right now. Update 3.3 definitely needs to be fleshed out a lot more, that's for sure. At least for now, I don't really think this is going to bring back many players, and I don't think that's the goal either. What I hope DICE is doing is getting the game as polished as possible for Season 1, which almost certainly will drop during March, and that's going to bring back some players. They've already sold a year's worth of content with 4 season passes, each bringing maps, weapons, and specialists. I'm pretty confident they're going for the long game here, and hopefully it all works out. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.